On Capitol Hill today, Congress is launching its probe into an issue that affects the safety of everyone on the road. A House committee is examining Toyota's response to safety problems with some of its most popular models. Here's a live look at that hearing underway right now. Toyota's head of U.S. operations is supposed to testify, as well as Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood. Tomorrow, Toyota's president testifies before the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. Republican Congressman Darrell Issa of California is ranking member of that committee and joins us now. What are your concerns? What are your questions for Toyota's president, Congressman?
Well, most of our questions really are for NHTSA and for the Department of Transportation, because they're the organization that was unable or unwilling or just simply didn't meet the obligation of the American people over more than a decade. But for Akio Toyoda, the CEO of the overall company, we're going to be really asking him what measures he's going to take going forward to ensure that this never happens again. Whether it's GM, Ford, Chrysler, or Toyota, we're not questioning quality in general. We are questioning whether or not on those rare occasions that there's a design defect, whether they're quick enough to at least check it out thoroughly and make the changes quickly.
Back to your questions for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and other government entities. Are you concerned here that the U.S. government dropped the ball for the consumer as much as Toyota might have?
Absolutely. What we see is a pattern of investigations beginning and then being closed. In one case, we have emails showing that they were talking about expanding an investigation that they then abandoned. In one case, we see a statement that they don't have the resources to pursue. This is an agency that leverages $86 billion worth of the auto company's R&D. They don't need a lot of resources. They simply need to make sure that the auto companies expend their resources. And we're very concerned that Toyota could well be the tip of the iceberg unless we ensure that this agency is doing its job fully from an engineering standpoint, not simply lawyers pushing papers.
A lot of our viewers might not know that prior to coming to Congress in the year 2000, you had a background in automotive electronics. You were the chairman of the Consumer Electronics Association. The company that you founded manufactured automotive electronic components and security components. Is there a feeling here that some of these electronic throttles and so forth were simply not up to the task that they were supposed to do?
Well, it's very clear that between the body control module and the engine control module on the data bus, sort of the three together, you could have failures. And this is an area where Toyota has been touting some new improvements that add to the redundancy. But yes, I am concerned that as we become more a drive-by-wire society, that we have to have an agency that can absolutely pursue anomalies and make sure that they're not a failure in hardware or software.
Toyota's president says he's taking the company back to basics, but as you alluded to, they're talking about this new electronic gadget that would disable the accelerator if you stepped on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. That doesn't sound like basics. That sounds like more electronics and potentially more problems.
Well, certainly when you're so electronic and so much of the weight savings and the efficiency we've gotten is through electronics, your choice is you've got to go forward and make it fail-safe and incredibly redundant, or go back and lose many of the efficiencies that Americans depend on, particularly when you look at hybrids, when you look at anti-lock brakes, traction control. These are all highly electronic, and they've made automobiles safer. So I don't think there's any question we have to go forward. The question, though, is can these agencies of government ensure that an anomaly occurring in Japan or in Canada or anywhere quickly turns into questions to be answered by engineering at these major auto companies? I think we can do it. I think we should do it. And I'm going to be very interested to see whether Ray LaHood is prepared to execute on that in a timely fashion, because that's what will make already safer cars that much safer for Americans.
Congressman Darrell Issa is the ranking member of the Energy and Commerce Committee in the House. They will be having their own Toyota hearings tomorrow. Congressman, thank you.
John, government oversight, but I appreciate the pitch for Energy and Commerce.
All right, I apologize for my error there. Thanks, Congressman.